So the House of Representatives just passed a new stimulus bill. Let's break out the champagne. Well, maybe not just yet. You see, you might be asking yourself, why do I have the world's smallest bottle of champagne or the largest bottle of airplane champagne? Well, we're not here to discuss that today. What we are going to talk about is, will this bill actually make it through the Senate? We're going to talk about what is most likely going to stick and what's not going to make it. Stick around to the end and I'll explain to you exactly what's in there for you as far as stimulus goes and what doesn't stand a chance. Before we get started, make sure to give this video a like, as I was told it does increase your chances of getting a stimulus check. I'm just saying. So let me start off by asking you a question. Do you think the country needs more stimulus, or do you think it's time for America to reopen and get everyone back to work? Leave it down below in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about that. So the HEROES Act bill just passed the House of Representatives by a margin of 217 to 189. This occurred on Friday, the 15th, late in the evening. These guys are not playing around, they're working late. For the first time we're able to do was actually vote via proxy voting, which means that one representative would be able to vote for up to 10 other representatives who weren't comfortable with making it in person. And the reason why is because they're practicing social distancing and everyone's just being extra careful. So now the bill is off to the Senate, where we have a majority of Republicans that are in control by a factor of 53 Republicans to 47 Democrats. So actually 45 Democrats, 2 are liberals, but they side with Democrats, but that doesn't matter. Now, they have stated, when I say they, I mean the Republicans in the Senate have stated that this bill is dead on arrival. Now, you might be just getting frustrated just hearing this, but why is it that they can never make up their mind? Why is it that the Senate and the House of Representatives are always bumping heads? Now is not a time for that to happen. You may ask yourself, look, all I care about is getting some more money in my pocket or opening up America again. When can we talk about that? Well, unfortunately, it's not going to be anytime soon. Republicans in the Senate have stated that there most likely will not be any more stimulus for the economy until after Memorial Day. They're going to take that break and just make sure that everything is tightened up the way it should be, and then come to a decision most likely after the holiday is over. Some people don't want to wait that long. I'm sure you're upset just hearing this, but don't take it out on me. Just give me that like, give me a like on this video. Make sure you do that now. So why is it that the Republicans in the Senate and the Democrats in the House can never seem to get along? Well, think of it like this. Imagine if you had a really cool dad and you had a really strict mom. And your really cool dad basically let you do whatever you wanted, spend as much money as you wanted, and didn't have any restraints on you whatsoever. But now your strict mom, she would always reel you in, make sure you had a budget, and she wouldn't let you go out at night. Now, what would happen is you would have a balance. Your mom and your dad would equal each other out and probably come to some kind of a compromise. Well, that's what's great about this country, because if we had too much of one thing, we would be too much an extreme to one side, or if we had too little of another thing, we would be an extreme of the other side. So what they're doing is counteracting each other by being able to come up with some kind of compromise that's going to help basically everyone. So if it was all up to Republicans, I'm sure there wouldn't be as much public help or aid to people who need it most. There would probably be too much help for businesses. But since we do have a Democratic Party who actually balances that out, it actually makes things fair for everyone. So what do Republicans hate about this? Well, let's start off with what Mitch McConnell just said. He said that this is a liberal's wish list. I thought he said liberal's wet dream, but that's just me. What he stated was that there's too much stuff in here that doesn't have anything to do with the actual pandemic that we're in. There's too much spending for things like marijuana, and there's too much money going to people who are immigrants in this country, but they're paying into the government. They're actually working and money gets taken out and gets paid back as taxes. Now, during the CARES Act, they didn't receive any money at all, and there's a lot of people who are standing up for them and stating that this was not the right thing to do. So this time around, they would not only qualify for assistance, but they would also get money that's owed to them retroactively from the CARES Act. So what else is it that Republicans don't like? Well, they don't like the expansion of unemployment benefits. And the reason why is because they don't want to make it more appealing for people to just stay home and collect unemployment rather than going back to work. And as a matter of fact, I'll be honest with you, I am hearing a lot of people saying that. I know people who were making X at their jobs and now they're much happier at home because they're actually collecting more money and they're not doing anything. Now that has to come to an end at some time, but what the Republicans don't want is they don't want to extend that any further. They want to make sure that that gets reeled in as quickly as possible and everyone gets back to work. So what's in here that Republicans are actually okay with, or things that they actually like? Well, you'll be glad to hear that one of the things they're okay with is stimulus check. They are okay with you getting a $1,200 stimulus check, but they're not okay with you getting a $2,000 stimulus check every single month. They don't want to put on more money to the balance sheets than actually necessary, but they're okay with Americans receiving a one-time payment, just like we did with the CARES Act. So the chances of you getting some more mailbox money, really good. So the other thing they really like is improvements to the employee retention credit. What this is a credit that was up to $5,000 previously that will now be bumped up to $36,000, and it's retroactive from March 13th through the end of the year. The way this works is in the following way. So let's just say that you own a business and you were paying your employees even while you were making less money or while your business was shut down. You can actually get credit for those employees that you had on payroll. So this is going to encourage employers to keep people on their books, and it's also going to keep people in their jobs. So this is why they're really content with this piece of legislature, because they want to make sure that people are at work and not at home. So has the president chimed in at all about this bill? Well, he actually has. He's actually coined it the Biden and Pelosi platform on illegal immigration. He doesn't like the fact that there's money in here for illegal immigrants. There's all types of things that he doesn't agree with, such as giving immigrants status in this country because of this whole pandemic that's going on and considering them being essential workers. So he's not going to allow this to pass. I'm sure of that. He's not going to allow this to pass the way it sits. So what happens if the president says no to this bill? Well, the first thing he's going to do is going to be veto the bill. And if he vetoes the bill, then the bill has to go back to the House of Representatives. And then it goes back to the Senate, where it has to also get passed, and then the president can sign off on it at that time. If the House and the Senate and the president can't all come to terms on the bill, then the House and the Senate can actually pass it into law if they vote on it by a 2/3 majority, and then the president would just have to accept it. Now here's something that both Republicans and Democrats strongly both agree on, and that's expansion of the PPP loan program. For those of you who don't know what this is, it's the Paycheck Protection Plan. I've done a video on it. I'll leave a link right here so you can find out more information about that. But what they're proposing is to actually make it not 8 weeks, but 24 weeks in which you can spend that money. And they also want to make sure that you can spend it on more things than just payroll. They want to expand it to be anything working capital. And we're also going to have guaranteed loans for any companies with under 10 employees. One of the biggest changes that they're proposing to make to the PPP program is that you have to spend 75% on payroll and 25% could be spent on working capital. They actually want to expand that to where you can use it more on working capital and less on payroll. Another amendment to the PPP program is that any money that's being used that is considered to be forgivable will also be tax deductible. I like the sound of that. Now, Republicans are definitely going to be feeling pressure to pass this bill very soon, maybe not in its current form, but definitely very soon. And the reason why I say that is because there's over 36 million people who are unemployed in this country right now. So what's in this bill that you need to know about? First of all, there's going to be about $1 trillion is going to be allocated for state and local assistance. This is basically states are in trouble, cities are in trouble, they're not conducting as much revenue, so they want a bailout. What's probably going to happen is that money is going to be cut in half, maybe $500 billion we may see for that, but definitely not $1 trillion. That's number one. Number two, you're going to see a stimulus check of $1,200 if you make under $75,000 or $2,400 if you're filing jointly. Republicans aren't crazy about giving out this money, but they much rather do that than give out $2,000 per month till God knows when. So we're probably going to see this part of it stick. Now, there's also going to be $75 billion in mortgage relief assistance and $100 billion for rental assistance. Now, that's going to be really important because a lot of people right now are not able to pay their rent or their mortgage. So I'm glad they're including that. And I think that's something that both sides are definitely going to agree on. Now, one of the biggest things that's in there is also expansion to unemployment insurance. I don't think Republicans are going to be too crazy about that, but definitely the Democrats are on board to expanding this. One of the things that they want to avoid is to have too many people just staying home. So there's probably not going to be too much improvements in that, but we may just see a little bit more. Now, one of the biggest things that's in here for students is that you can be forgiven for up to $10,000 of your student loans. That's huge. That's a really big for a lot of people who are coming out of college or all that student loan, or if they're just kids that are trying to pay these things off with high interest rates. This is going to be a huge help. So there's also a lot of money in here for essential workers. Now, in your opinion, an essential worker might be a police officer, a firefighter, or someone who works in a hospital. But essential workers are basically anyone who has to work right now. And that includes people who work at department stores, grocery stores, gas attendants. There's a lot of people out there who are considered to be essential because our business or economy wouldn't run if it wasn't for them. I do feel like there's a lot of great things in this bill, this HEROES Act. I do think there's a lot of great things. And for one, I think that the student loan thing, that's huge. I think that I know so many people, young people, or even people that are not even millennials anymore, who are sitting on so much money that they owe these schools. I do think that it's great to throw them a bone and give them a little bit of help, give them a little assistance. $10,000 for most people with student loans isn't even really going to make a dent. But at least it's a start. It's something that's going to help them. And giving people more access to PPP funds, that's going to be a game changer. And the fact that it's forgivable to a certain extent, that makes a lot of people comfortable. Now, there were a lot of companies such as Shake Shack and many others who actually returned their PPP money because too many strings attached. So I think getting it reworked is a step in the right direction. Getting more money into the pockets of small businesses, those businesses with 10 or fewer employees, that's huge, because now you're able to guarantee that those businesses will get the money. So if you don't know, I run a pretty successful real estate group, and we're in a process of growing into all 50 states across the country. If you're looking to get into real estate, or maybe you already are in real estate and you want to join a dynamic group, I'd love to talk to you. I'm going to leave a link down below in the description section where you can schedule a one-on-one call with me. And as always, guys, thank you for watching. And if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.